Welcome to KSDL
August edition. So, I know it's been quite some time now that we've met. How have you been?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I feel like I've been seeing you flying off from Singapore, come back, fly again, come back.
Oh yeah, I've been like jet setting across the world. No, just kidding. I've been doing a bit of traveling. In these past few months. Been a bit busy with work, but also apart from work, I'm also like spending a lot of time gaming.
Oh, really? Are you playing?
Yeah.
What game are you playing right now?
I'm playing Tears of the Kingdom Zelda. I'm not sure if you know about it.
I know
If
about
you
Zelda.
play Switch, yeah.
But I don't really know. I don't really play it though, but I'm aware of it.
Yeah, so that's another thing that is occupying my time and
Your
also
free time.
my brain. Yeah, it got released like in May. And then I have colleagues who already finished it already. But
what
for me,
got
I'm just
you
taking
into
my
the game?
time.
Did someone introduce it to you?
Oh, because I played the first one, Breath of the Wild. So this is like a follow-up to the first Zelda game on Switch. Yeah, that's really what's occupying
I'm
my
sure
life.
our listeners really miss your voice because it's our last episode was just me and our guest. So Xuan is back.
Yay! And then that's where you see the listeners deep. It's like, wow, this person with the BS coming back again. How are you, Adila?
So anyway, you guys, listening to this episode, you might hear a bit of cough here and there. I'm still recovering from my cough. This is not the cough that I had from the last time that we recorded, but this is a new cough.
New variant.
Yes, I don't know. So it's been lingering.
Cough 002.
Yeah, it's been lingering for almost like 1.5 weeks now. I hope I'm much better. We were supposed to record like 1 week earlier, right? But I told you my cough was so bad at the time. Xuan was actually worried about me whether I can do it today. And I'm telling her, it's fine, I'm fine. My cough will just come randomly, but it's much better than last week.
I'm actually not worried about you. I'm worried about the quality of the recording.
Ayo.
No, I'm just kidding lah. Hey, I'm like a caring friend as usual.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. I mean, like, Adila has armed herself with warm water.
Yes, warm water. And
like, ironically, some Skittles. Not sure how that pans out, but let's see.
And some fisherman friends, lemon drops.
Okay. Your body must be super confused. It's like, what's this, like, fisherman friend and sweets and warm water all coming at the same time.
And then we're getting acai later.
Later we're gonna eat acai. So that's how you know how Adila treats her body lah, huh?
Hey. Recently we had our National Day rally.
Yeah, Sunday.
And then, Sunday, right? And then the PM actually mentioned like something about COVID is over. I'm like, wow, really?
Yeah. That's how he starts all his different speeches.
Oh, really?
Cause he did in 3 languages, right? Yeah. Because I listened to all 3. How he started all 3 is how COVID has passed us and like how we emerge as a stronger country in 3 different languages. And I was like, wow, okay.
You emphasizing 3 times.
Yeah.
During the Malay speech, he said this a metaphor like the rain came and then now the rainbow is here and then jobs are gonna pop up. And then he was saying like people who are in the tech industry is in a good space and then it's booming. And then he mentioned the UX industry.
Oh, he did spoke about UX. I think it's only in the Malay speech.
Yeah, I believe so. I thought he would mention it in the other speeches, but I guess not. Yeah, he was mentioning about the Malay Muslims in tech group that formed last year. Sadly, I'm not inside. Maybe I should consider joining. So, but then at the same time, he also mentioned UX designer Atika, which is also my friend. So
hello, Atika.
Hi, Atika. So we were all very excited when we saw her name. So to me, it was a pleasant surprise that to have UX design mentioned in the PM speech. Yeah. So then when he mentioned that, I was thinking, oh, it's a small win for us.
Yeah, I mean, to have your profession being mentioned in like a National Day rally, and most likely a lot of Singaporeans will be tuning into this. So yeah, it's a good opportunity lah for us.
Yeah. On to today's topic. It aligns very well with the message from the National Day rally as well, since the PMs mentioned that they are gonna create more senior-friendly public spaces.
Yeah.
And I think designing for dementia itself is in line with that.
Yeah, if you can recall, we actually dedicated an episode all around like the MRT design improvements. And we realized that there's actually one more thing that is worthy for us to delve into. If you frequent the public transports in Singapore, then you may notice some new additions in certain bus stops or MRT stations like Chinatown MRT, Boon Lay bus interchange, or like Toa Payoh bus interchange.
And Woodlands.
So what are these new additions that we are talking about? Just imagine like stickers that has illustrations of objects or illustrations of food being pasted and scattered around the walls and grounds of the public transport spaces.
If you guys would like, you can actually pause in our show and then take a look at our Instagram post and maybe just scroll through the carousel images as we share some of the images that we found at these different public spaces where we mentioned these stickers.
Yeah, they're size of mahjong papers lah, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Basically, if you stretch your arms, like that's the size of the stickers. Yeah. We ourselves observe like all these stickers. So I actually also snapped a photo for Adila because I was at Boon Keng MRT, then visiting a friend, and then I saw the same mahjong paper sized sticker that is of a radio at the routes towards the one of the exits lah. So we thought that definitely there's an obvious design intervention. Like nobody would just randomly paste all these stickers around.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some thoughts that is put behind this for this to happen. And it's very in line with what KSDL is. Yeah. Okay, let's delve more into this episode. Maybe at the end we share our critical take on this design as usual because we be smarty pants designers.
So critical.
So we dug around to find out like what's behind all of these stickers. And it's actually an initiative called Find Your Way. And this is actually a result of a partnership between SBS Transit and also Dementia Singapore. Which is like a social service agency.
The goal was to make bus interchange and MRT stations in Singapore more dementia friendly. As you guys know, of course, we have an aging population, and especially in line with the National Day rally where they put in so much emphasis on making things more senior friendly here and there in public spaces and all that, right? So I guess this is one of the initiatives that they did ahead of the rally, and I think this has been something that has been going on for the past several years, especially. It was kickstarted in Singapore since early last year. So I think when it was first launched, it was in Toa Payoh bus interchange in Chinatown MRT.
And Chinatown MRT. We are assuming that because they probably have data on the average age or demographics of people in the MRTs. And probably they know that there's a lot more elderlies that will frequent that area. So that's why it's easier for them to test the effectiveness.
Yeah, at a space where there's a lot of human traffic and footfall, basically.
Yep.
Yeah. So from what we gathered as well, this initiative, they do plan to expand into more MRT stations and 3 other bus interchange, Ang Mo Kio, Boon Lay and Hougang Central. Just to go back a bit, what is dementia? A lot of people use dementia and Alzheimer interchangeably. Dementia is actually an umbrella or general term for symptoms affecting the decline of memory, thinking and ability to perform daily activities. And Alzheimer is one of them. So usually affects people above 65 years old.
Yeah, and for a aging population like Singapore, right, it will be a prevalent issue. Yeah, so I think there's an actual problem to be solved over here. That's why I feel like this episode could be very, very interesting for us to look at how we solutionize for them.
I just remembered suddenly now I was watching, I think, was it YouTube or TV the other day? And I saw an advertisement where there was this lady and then she was like, I can see that she was in the HDB corridor and then she suddenly started crying. And then suddenly her husband came. Then it turns out she said, I couldn't recognize our door.
Oh.
Yeah, it was very emotional. Yeah, but the whole point is it was so relatable because it's imagine your own parents or your own grandparents trying to get home and they cannot reach your door.
Yeah. I mean, when we were drafting out this content and when I got to this point, I actually thought of my mom.
Oh.
Yeah, because I feel like it's the age that my mom is coming close to.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's also like showing very obvious signs of aging. Like she forgets things more easily. She drops things more easily. She couldn't really walk very long distance, which she used to. She's less active nowadays. So like I think I had a lot of feelings when I was reading the content that we prepped for, right? Which is, these things could happen to our parents and even to us when we grow older. Yeah, so I think it's really nice for us to, just be a bit more empathetic. Sometimes it can be hard for us as youngsters, right, to think for the people who has dementia. It's like, yeah, you can say that, okay, dementia means people cannot perform daily activities. But if we think deeper, right, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Right, so I think like we can try to imagine together. One day you wake up and then they realize that they forget how to use their household appliances. Yeah. So that's them losing their sense of judgment because of dementia.
I remember sometimes, I mean, even as a mother, for me, I sometimes tell myself, make sure that I have already turned off all the stove after I maybe reheat something. And then even then, it's like, imagine an older person worrying about a million things after everything that they've done.
Yeah.
Have I switched off the tap? Have I turned off the fire?
And I think the forgetting part is another symptom of dementia, right? Which is like you become increasingly fearful and anxious. Another symptom stemming from dementia, which segues to our episode, is imagine yourself, you want to get home. Suddenly the street that was once familiar to you was no longer that already. It looks extremely foreign. However you turn, you just can't find your way home lah. And that's you losing your sense of time and place. Yeah. This is what we unpack from someone who we say that, they lose the ability to perform daily activities. This is actually what it means. Which I think now that kind of lay out as a scenario, right, it is actually pretty scary.
Yeah.
Also, the bad thing about this is the symptoms will actually lead to you having increased anxiety, embarrassment, increased rejection of the society.
Yeah. I mean, just imagine you as an elderly person having to go through all that, and then you have all these emotions with you as well. Who do you turn to when you are going through all that? So I guess in a way, saying that all these effects of dementia is going to be quite prevalent in our country.
Yeah.
Because we are quite heavily depending on public transports and we have an aging population. So I guess that's why this initiative comes in very handy.
Yeah. And also plus the fact that Singapore is so small. So like a lot of places is extremely crowded. Like it's very hard to find places that's very spacious.
There was a time when it was COVID.
Or maybe or like Springleaf MRT. Like when not a lot of people are still using the MRT, I guess. But yeah, I actually quite like the way you phrase it. Who do they turn to, right?
Yes.
And hence design has a role to play to kind of support them. Okay, best is if they turn to other people. But another side of this is also like we want them to feel empowered as well, to do things independently. Which design can be really that cheerleader that can help them to do that lah. Now that we have talked about the initiative, what the dementia is,
setting the context of this episode.
Yeah, setting the context. Maybe let's jump back to the design and the solution. Yeah.
So how did these public transport stations end up having these giant stickers on the floor and walls? I wonder if kids actually try to play with them.
Oh, like touch them.
Not really touch them, but maybe even like step on them because they're so colourful, you see. So maybe they will step on one, then
maybe
the other foot step on the other one.
Thinking that they will light up or produce sound, is it?
I don't know. I mean, just for fun.
Actually quite fun. But anyway, yeah. So how did it end up?
So basically, came up with this problem statement of how might we enable those living with dementia and elderly in general remember their way in getting to their intended exit. So here's what we think the ideal scenario is painted. When you enter a busy bus station, your anxiety builds up. You see large stickers on the ground and found a sticker that says, number 31, which is the bus you're taking. It points to the right, so you follow along. On the sticker, you spot an orange chapte. It reminded you of what you used to play as a kid. Oh, your mood lightens and you're no longer anxious. As you walked in the direction, you spot more chaptes on the walls, which gives you the confidence that you're at the right spot. You found the berth with the bus number 31 and you wait there for your bus. You know what reminds me of? I just realized whenever I go to NUH Kids, there will be a section of the route where there will be a lot of stickers on the wall.
Okay.
And it's not just stickers, they even have a mural. And it's like different animals. There's giraffe, zebra on a bus, and then there's some maybe whale, if I can recall correctly. And it leads all the way up to the children's section.
Oh, so you are saying like this is also a similar tactic they employ to guide people through the intended route lah.
Yeah.
I see. Oh, okay.
I guess they are playing on this, but this is for elderly.
For elderly.
Yeah. So the solution is basically to have these murals like stickers on the ground and walls that act as wayfinders, right?
Yep. And like usually the starting point will have this arrow. So example, bus 31, right, will have a chapte with an orange arrow pointing to the right. And then if you follow that direction, you will see more of that same chapte that is pasted
on the pillar or on the walls, right?
I guess that is just to give you confidence, like an assurance that okay, you are in the right direction.
Yes.
So the reason why they use like all this nostalgic illustration is because they believe that this will help stimulate parts of the brain that deals with long-term memory and cognition.
Okay.
They also mentioned like okay, it's also visually interesting.
Okay, but now I have a question. What if the elderly person has some form of eyesight difficulty where maybe they cannot distinguish some colours?
I think that's why they don't want to rely on just colours
alone.
Yeah, that's why they put illustration. Even if you make the whole thing black and white, you are still able to identify like a chapte from a 5 stone. Now that we are kind of familiar with the solution and also like a bit of like the problem statement that they are dealing with, maybe let's give our honest take on this design. So I guess maybe you can talk about the good things.
Yes, always start with the good stuff.
First of all, I think they keep it very simple, right? They use very bold arrows, which is very universal. Everyone kind of knows how an arrow works. And very simple labels.
Like just exit F.
Correct.
Bus
number. So it's very effective to everyone. Because one good thing about designing for a niche, you design for everyone eventually. So it's also effective to other people, I believe. Like let's say you also couldn't find bus number 31. You also don't need the chapte, right? You just need to see an arrow to the right. And then you know where to go. Yeah. So this really works in a very simplistic manner.
When you mentioned that, I just recall when I was at Boon Lay, I did see someone. He didn't look elderly though. He looks maybe in the middle-aged man. He was looking at an arrow. He was looking for his bus. Then he just looked, this direction. And he just went.
Okay. So that's it. Serving its purpose to everyone.
Correct.
Which is good.
Another opinion of ours is that most probably this is low cost that can be easily implemented. Using of stickers are definitely low cost because it has significant impact. At the same time, it makes sure that they keep the cost of printing it and then pasting it low, since we're gonna have to put it around on the floors everywhere, right?
Yeah.
And I guess it is a way, because it's a new initiative, so they don't want to build something that is so permanent that they cannot change.
Oh, that's true. Like it's a low cost for an experimentation.
Yeah. So maybe they can test it out and then they even take it out, and then maybe if there's feedback or changes, they can easily pull it back and then maybe, I don't know, paste something new.
That's true.
Or maybe adjust it certain way.
Yeah.
And also one thing to take note, I think there's a lot of advertisements that use stickers also.
Yeah, if we go in line with that thinking, because probably like they also prepare for it to be tear down.
Yeah, correct.
And then it just aids in the application and also tear down process lah, right?
Yeah.
That's true. Actually, okay, now that we are talking about like kind of low cost, high impact, right? Like if we plot the graph,
Yes,
like
X and Y.
one axis is cost and one axis is impact, right?
Yeah.
Then what is a high cost, high impact? Just for humors.
Maybe if you decide to build like a permanent like a stand, and then they put it
Made of gold.
not made of gold lah. I
Okay,
mean,
stand.
yeah, like a stand, and then it's like so maybe if it's a like permanent one will be really just standing down there. You cannot move it, cannot budge.
Okay.
It's permanently
Yeah,
there.
okay. Like maybe they drill the floor.
Yes, they drill to the floor. and
Like
then
floor
it's there.
to ceiling signage. Then that's like a high cost, high impact.
Another one high cost high impact would be if for example right they say okay to get to bus 180 you need to go to this red color section, and then what if they paint the whole wall red or they paint the whole pillar red, and then maybe that would be
like the Tampines HDB. Okay.
oh yeah that one right is about
The creepy Tampines HDB.
they repainted it after that, right?
I don't know if they repainted.
I think they
it, but-
repainted. I saw they were saying that people would say it looks like it's a horror scene movie. It came out a horror scene movie and then they repainted to a much more calmer color.
Oh, ayo. Yeah, they want high cost, low impact. Anyway, yeah, that's like us looking at the positive notes on the design. But I guess like there's some questions that we have also
Yes.
with regards to the design, which is in the context of public transport. Adding those stickers, is it overloading the visual with all these overwhelming signages all around?
You mean
'Cause,
visual clutter?
Yeah, visual clutter. Because if you look at the public transport today,
Yeah.
there's already a lot of signs. So why does it warrant even more signs to be pasted around? So imagine if you are like that same elderly with dementia.
Yeah.
I don't know how it will help if all they see is just visual clutter. Like, is it easy for them to spot like, oh, orange Sharp Day? You know? Like, or do they spot like this giant blue banner that says do not enter? Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I think in concept it makes sense. Like if we just think of that concept in silo, but if we place this concept within the real context of MRT stations or bus interchanges, right? Yeah, I kind of reckon that it will be a bit overwhelming. Yeah.
One thing I have to add on is that if you walk into the bus interchange with all these stickers around you and the bus interchange is relatively empty, I think it's fine. It's very clear cut. But imagine if the bus interchange is very crowded and you have people moving here and there. Yeah, that's my
and people
concern.
like stepping over the stickers also.
Stepping over the stickers one, and you have all this movement, right? It adds to the visual clutter as well, you see.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You know all these like sticker, what does it remind me of? Like all these like pasting a lot of stickers.
What is it?
You've been to like new BTO flats or not?
Oh,
You know with the leaves, right?
yes.
Then like it's inside is like all the
Yeah.
pamphlets
All the
sticking on the
different
sides of the
stickers
leaf.
advertising to you.
Yeah.
New window, new grill.
Yeah, new lock.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like you can tell how many layers it has stuck onto each other already.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, it kind of feels like, I mean like we are definitely exaggerating, but I think when you think of dementia or like even accessibility, how we feel anxiety is quite different from how they feel. They probably will feel it way more. So this is one thing that I feel like, is it really effective lah with that visual clutter, like what you said, when people are walking around? Because it's also in Singapore, right? Like most of the MRT stations will definitely have a lot of traffic.
There was an article, right? The people actually said noise and visual clutter, they prefer to be kept at a minimum because they say it's very overwhelming for people with dementia.
I think choosing of the illustrations, if we were to go with illustrations, is also very crucial. Because let's say now you're an elderly, you go ask the people at the info center, right? How do I get to number 31?
Yeah.
Then maybe they say, oh, follow the chapte illustration, the orange chapte illustration. In your head, you already have painted like this image of a chapte, right?
Then it's a colourful chapte, not an orange.
Yes. Then like will that add to more confusion to the elderly?
Now that you mention this, right, I just realized something. What if this elderly, when they see a chapter, they think, oh, this is a section to go where you want to play games. Or maybe if they see like the tingkat, right?
With participant number 31 there, is it?
Oh yeah. Or maybe if they see the tingkat, right, they think, oh, this is the section to go where I can buy food. You know?
Yeah, I guess the danger of using illustrations or using like abstraction to indicate something is always like there's this risk of misinterpretation. Yeah.
Yeah, our next point basically that we are wondering is about scalability. How it's going to be like scaling to other MRT stations. So far, seems like they have different themes, and that's why there are different artworks for different stations. And we notice also that the effort on the design is quite high as we continue to expand this design intervention to more stations. So if we want to scale, right, I wonder how many more items can they use for nostalgic purposes.
Yeah.
Or would they run out?
Yeah, that's the thing. If you were to scale this to all stations, like eventually we'll run out of things to draw because it's quite unique. And right now it seems like it's not repeated. Yeah. And I think like scaling through time also is a good point. Yes, we spend all this effort to create these illustrations that's very nostalgic to our elderlies. But eventually, like, how does that apply to us when we grow old?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What is nostalgic to them, would it be nostalgic to us?
Correct.
But I guess by the time we might not be using stickers on the floor anymore.
Yeah. And that's a very good point, I think. Maybe we get to a point where we find more low-cost alternatives.
Maybe we'll be the more tech-savvy elderly.
But what is... Okay, let's just like play along also. Like, what's nostalgic to us? Like right now...
Tamagotchi.
I know the pop candy. The candy they put in your mouth, then you will jump.
Yeah. What else?
The lemon, the something...
What lemon?
What's that lemon? The something head. Warhead candy.
Oh,
The candy they eat to prevent yourself from sleeping
there's one
at
more
lectures.
Okay, that's one. Another one is, you know when people used to play the country flags on the eraser?
Oh, the country flag eraser.
Yes. Yeah, that's nostalgic to us. What else?
The chocolate stone.
Chocolate stone?
Chocolate stone from the Japanese stores. Stone-like chocolates.
Oh, okay.
Of different colours. Like, they has brick colour, grey colour,
maybe you need to show an
green.
image and I will remember.
Okay.
I just know candy in terms of maybe like the ear, like the rabbit bunny.
Oh,
candy.
the white rabbit.
White rabbit candy. Yeah. I guess we have
Wow,
some
we are like
items for nostalgia.
so energized. We're talking about nostalgia.
I know, right?
Oh, I know. The clothes hanger that our parents used to hit us with.
But then that will bring back trauma. I don't want. I don't think that's a good idea.
Traumatic nostalgia.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea to put out in public
piano
spaces.
Because like my parents used to force me to play the piano.
Then you have to be a piano
My tuition
keys.
teacher.
You have to be a piano key.
Anyway. One last question that we have also. It will be interesting also to know how do they measure the success of their designs.
What would be very cool if one of the people who actually worked on this initiative reach out to us and decide to tell us all these answers.
Oh yeah.
Or maybe even share
That
a
would be
bit.
cool.
Maybe tell us everything, but maybe share with us how did they get started, and then how was the project like, and then what they learned, and then maybe what are the things that they wanted to implement but they didn't implement. I mean, it will be such a nice follow-up to this episode. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. But what do you think will be the ways they measure?
I guess they would be doing testing in terms of just letting the elderly experiment on the ground, and then they observe what they... Well, maybe they give them a task to do. Like, okay, hello uncle, please go to bus 14.
Lab test.
Like
control experiment.
Yeah. I don't know whether they do it maybe in a different area, because since the interchange is usually very occupied with people. Right?
Or maybe like they measure the number of people who ask them where to go. Like the customer service. Maybe they can keep track of the number of people who ask for directions. Yeah. Actually, I don't know. I think it's a bit tough to... Because it's such an open area. and like there's so many things that's happening. It's really pretty interesting to devise like a way to measure. I mean, you probably need to think deeper as to how to measure the success of this design.
We are obviously just skimming over this issue, but you guys can feel free to maybe, I don't know,
Let us know.
let us know some of your opinions or thoughts, or maybe you even know some things about the project and you can share with us.
Yep.
Okay, so just to conclude this episode, if you guys would like to know, the dementia organization in Singapore has more wayfinding initiatives coming up. It will be worth for you guys to check them out because they are exploring different possibilities, and it's also a chance for us designers to learn as well. I mean, not just for our design work, but maybe even for our own family members. Yeah, so we will put in the link in the episode. As designers, I think we are still on the tip of the iceberg on this topic. But if you do want to dive into more designing for patients with dementia or just for elderly in general, we will include a list of resources under this episode.
As we were researching more about, design for dementia, there's actually quite a lot of guidance, on principles of designs if you want to design for them.
Like principles of designing for dementia. But that one, I think it was a mix of local and international guidelines. You guys can consider checking it out. Lastly, we feel this was a good effort on bringing more awareness and inclusivity to dementia. What do you guys think? When you guys first saw these stickers on the interchange, do you think it was for dementia? Or do you think it was for kids? Due to how colourful it was. Or did you guys actually use the stickers? Yeah.
Or do you even spot them?
Yeah, I know, right?
know?
Yeah.
No, I just think like all in all, also this episode really reminded me in being more empathetic and like being a bit more sensitive to the word dementia and also aging. It's really quite a heavy topic. Yeah, but despite it being heavy, like I still feel like design really plays a huge role.
Tapping on what you said, design playing a huge role. I just feel that as designers, it's like that slogan, design for change, something like that. Yeah, so it feels like as if we as designers, we can make a more impactful role in what we do if we think further of the people that is affected by our designs, or who will be potentially affected by our designs.
Yeah. I got reminded of this documentary of a day in life of an elderly who has dementia. And then at the end of the documentary, she was saying that actually all I need is for everyone to be a bit more patient and a bit more caring to me.
Oh.
Yeah. And I feel like patience and care, all these are things that is really very close to design.
Yeah.
Because in the real world, probably other functions won't care that much.
Yeah.
In the world of business.
You got some good stuff. Let's share some stuff, yeah?
So
Yeah.
anyway, for
Hi.
terms for this episode, you want to start first?
Right, okay, my terms for this episode is called ground.news. Imagine your regular news website, but what's different about ground.news is that it's actually a platform that allows you to be a bit more aware as a reader of the internet. Yeah, as you know, a lot of the content that is being generated on the internet mostly have an agenda. It's trying to
fake news.
Or fake news, yeah.
Okay.
It's trying to, or polarizing content. Yeah, it's basically trying to push your understanding of the world, hence influence your thinking and also your actions. Yeah, so this ground.news is just to help you to navigate the media bias by aggregating all the news article of a given topic. And then the very interesting thing is it tells you how much of it is left, how much of it is right, and how much of it is center.
What does it mean by the left, right, or center?
Oh, the left wing, right wing.
Oh,
yeah, so
okay,
like how much
okay.
of it is politically driven, how much of it is just a very neutral standpoint. Yeah, it's I find it really helpful because one, it helps me to really know, okay, for those that is very right.
Yeah.
How do they usually frame a specific piece of news? It also tells me, like, for this specific piece of news, what's the proportion of them being left, right, or center. And then it gets me a bit more aware also. Like, okay, now let's say now I know that the Ukraine war is mostly news that are very right. So when I read more about the Ukraine war in other places, then I will be a bit more cognizant lah.
I recall that time when I was doing my degree, one of my lecturer was telling us, read the news, but when you read the news, question the news.
Yeah.
He was saying that you read. It's not saying he's trying to stir shit or whatever with the government. But he was saying that whatever you read, be it locally or internationally, always question that piece of content. Just because it's coming from this official media statement doesn't mean it's 100% true. Maybe it is true, but maybe it's just trying to steer you to think of a certain way.
Or maybe it's truth in someone's point of view, and that person is well influenced by certain bias in the world already. Like there definitely is like some propaganda in everything we read lah. Like we all know that Straits Times is also like propaganda, right? So like knowing this, like it just gives you, like it opens your eyes more lor, to critical thinking. Like one piece of news, you have different sides of it. By capturing all the sides, right, it actually paints a fuller picture of a certain topic lor. So that's why I find myself actually scrolling around the website a lot.
How do you learn about this website? Someone told you about it?
I think it was from a YouTube channel.
Oh, that's nice.
It was Johnny Harris, because he's like this independent journalist. So he cares a lot about neutral journalism.
Okay. I see. Okay.
So that's ground.news for everyone. Thank you.
That's something really very useful. Learning point. My terms will be something a bit more on the entertainment side. Not really something happy, but it's more of will pique your curiosity. So basically, this is a YouTube channel called Scary Interesting. It's very similar to the one that I've promoted before, Mr. Bollen. Yes.
Yeah, I went to read. It can be entertained for a few nights actually. I was like,
whoa. So for this guy, I find him to be a bit more interesting because he doesn't have his face on the videos at all.
Okay.
So he uses music that is not so intrusive to the storytelling.
Okay.
Yeah, and the way he storytells, his voice is quite calm, and then you get quite hooked quite easily, and then you can pull through to the end. Yeah, and so far the more popular stories that I've been following on his channel will be about cave exploring gone wrong, underwater deep diving cave exploring gone wrong. All the things that went wrong. It's basically stories of what could have been avoided.
Because you have recommended 3 YouTube channels, right? One is the Julie, the makeup thing.
The makeup that went wrong.
It feels like everything is all about things going wrong. I think that's the pattern.
Because it's more interesting. Okay, there's one more. There's this guy. He does this YouTube channel as well called Chubby Emu. Have you heard of it?
My colleague talked about it. Okay, go on.
Yeah. So this one is more like people who eat something, consume something, and then it went wrong. So for example, maybe
Tide Pods.
a college student who ate 5-day-old sushi, and this is what happened to his brain. So sort of thing. Yeah. So that is a lot more useful info because he has a lot. He actually mentions about all the signs that goes into it, what happens. Emia means hypo, means what. All these terms I can't remember right now. So I watch between that and Scary Interesting. They are like my alternative to Netflix. So basically from Scary Interesting, I just know I'm never gonna go cave exploring or deep diving cave exploring. Okay, so that's enough from my terms. So
Alright, so I guess we have come to the end of today's episode. I hope you find this very rewarding for you and also fulfilling at the same time. Okay, so we are actually trying out this new feature on Spotify.
Yes.
So if you are listening to our podcast on Spotify, if you scroll down to this episode, right, there's actually a card that will prompt you a question. Yeah. So we are just wondering like, hey, okay, that's like another way to directly interact with you all.
We would really love for you guys to actually maybe drop in a comment or feedback or response using that Q&A feature, so we can test it out and see how it's like. We'll be excited about it, and then we want to see how's the response and if we should continue using this feature to help strengthen the discussions. Feel free to reach out to us at our Instagram or Gmail, both at Kiasu Design Life.
Yep. Okay. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.